Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm pleased that for our first hearing of the 113th Congress that we are focusing on natural gas, the opportunities that natural gas clearly presents within the energy discussion as we look at our energy mix, our energy portfolio. I think it is absolutely clear that much of the economic stimulus that we have seen, the jobs that have been created in recent years, so many are coming from our states that are hosting opportunities within the natural gas sector. So I'm pleased that that's our focus today. I welcome all of our witnesses. Without a doubt, the new technology that we're seeing has enabled a natural gas boom that has changed our energy landscape and the outlook for our economy. I have often said this natural gas just didn't all of a sudden migrate to these areas. It's been there for a long time, but what has changed has been our ability to access this resource through the new technology. Natural gas is now an abundant, affordable, clean source of energy, provides great opportunities for economic growth and energy security. Mr. Chairman, you mentioned the position that we have kind of moved to as a nation when we look to our energy sources. Just a few handful of years ago, we were talking about the scarcity of our resources. We have moved from a discussion about scarcity to one of abundance, and it does require us to look critically and perhaps rethink some of the conversations that we have had about energy. Last week, I introduced a proposal, a document about 115 pages, Energy 2020, that I hope will spur us to conversations about energy and how we should be looking differently at energy because of exactly this paradigm shift, going from one of scarcity to relative abundance. Our resource-based estimates have increased 44% with natural gas in less than 5 years. That's pretty incredible. Production is up, prices are low. There's been a positive impact on our greenhouse gas emissions. In addition, our allies overseas are now looking at the United States, looking at our natural gas, and we've got enough resources to help make that happen. For these reasons, though, we have to be thoughtful, I would certainly agree, in how we proceed in dealing with the issues that impact natural gas. There are several pending reports and studies looking at hydraulic fracturing. We need to make sure that these efforts are reasonable, that they're based on sound science, and they don't result in unnecessary and overly burdensome regulatory requirements. I think we need to take a very close look, a critical look at existing state regulations before we move to impose blanket rules that perhaps might cause more problems than they solve. I've had an opportunity to be out in the Bakken region. I've been out in the Marcellus with my colleague, Senator Manchin.
All around the country. So when you're talking about a one-size-fits-all approach,
maybe we need to look a little more critically at that. We also need to be careful about intervening in efforts to export our LNG. There is a long-established regulatory process for natural gas exports through the Department of Energy and through the FERC. This includes environmental review under NEPA. So before we reinvent the wheel, I think we need to look at existing laws and regulations and determine if and where there are some deficiencies. The debate on this issue has focused on the impacts to domestic natural gas prices and supply, but I think we also need to include within this discussion an understanding of the role that the market forces will play, not only on domestic prices, but the number of projects that may actually be built. We recognize these are mega projects that we are dealing with in every sense of the word, ranging from $8 billion to $25 billion, depending on the amount of existing infrastructure. Up in Alaska, we're talking about a project of about $65 billion. This is real money. Gas is a global commodity, and other countries, including Canada, are already moving forward. So I don't think that dragging our feet is an option here if we want to export our LNG. We should also not forget the positive impacts that exports would have on our trade imbalance and the geopolitical benefits of exporting to our allies. There are also other issues to discuss related to the natural gas industry,
I'd certainly be remiss if I didn't bring up the dire need for new pipeline infrastructure to move our natural gas resources to domestic markets and consumers. We need to address the roadblocks that prevent many of these projects from moving forward. I do hope that this hearing is just the start of a very important discussion on these and many others impacting our natural gas industry. With that, I look forward to the comments from the witnesses that have gathered here this morning and thank them for coming before the committee.
Thank you for an excellent statement, Senator Murkowski, and I think all of us would